Oh man, wow, what a shocking news. Jerry Soloan decides to resign from the Utah Jazz after coaching with this team for over 20 years. 23 years, Jerry Soloan decide to resign, which is very, very shocking news, apparently, from my opinion. This has actually been, I actually just find out that he's Soloan stepping down, and I saw it. I was going to go on the NBA.com page, and then I find out he resigned. How shocking is that? I was going to talk about the Cavs' 25-game losing streak. I don't know if it's going to be snapped or not or whatnot, but this has just been very shocking news. Soloan's been resigning. Like, ever since having some slumpy seasons, ever since losing Stockton and Malone, the Jazz were a complete disaster after not having Andre Kirilenko. Only 3 years in a row, they didn't make the playoffs. Actually, I don't know if they made the playoffs that year. And then they were able to get themselves back up and back together. And it was just quite sad. And on top of that, Cleveland lost today. So it just turned out in any of the four major North American pros will resign last Thursday, according to a report. The Desert Dudes, he put Sogan's longtime assistant Phil Johnson will also step down from his post. Sogan, who turned 69, announced earlier this week that he signed a one-year extension of the contract, but the Jazz merited in 6th place in the Western Conference, Western Conference have been struggling lately. But, the Jazz still have been looking solid, beating strong teams like the Heat and Orlando. The reason, Darren Williams and Boozer are, Stockton and Malone is because of Jerry Soloan. Jerry Soloan is just very, very solid. He's very solid coaching, and, that's why Darren Williams is where he is today. Same thing with Carlos Boozer. That's why he's looking solid on Chicago Bulls. I mean, he was good on the Cavs, but my brother didn't like him then when he was on Cleveland, because he called him Carlos Loser. And on top of that, he thinks he didn't even like him then. He wasn't that great, because the Cavs were a terrible team then, when they were 17-65, which was just pretty awful. But they did have some young, talented players. It's just they didn't have much of the knowledge. But, anyway, with Soloan, I always liked the Jazz because of Stockton and Malone. Those were my favorite players. I like Karl Malone. He was a solid player. I started warming up to Utah. Utah was just very solid, especially with the mailman Karl Malone. I used to like Karl Malone, and Jerry Soloan took the Jazz to the finals twice, despite 2 years in a row they missed the playoffs. Maybe 3 years in a row. But, after those 3 sloppy years, they became able to build up and became a very solid team, which is because of Jerry Soloan. And my brother said as long as they had Jerry Soloan, they're going to be a solid team. And that's why he's been with the team for 23 years. So I think that's a tragic news for me to hear, apparently, from Jerry Soloan, the Utah Jazz. But, I think they could climb up there. But, I don't know who will their new coaching staff will be. I think they could hire Jim O'Brien to coach the Jazz, but Jim O'Brien, he's a very good, solid coach. He just couldn't work with Indiana after missing the playoffs 4 years. He's been having these subpar seasons with the Pacers, and then he had almost 2 or 3 solid seasons. But because of Danny Ainge busting up the team with all these ridiculous trades, Tony Battie and Eric Williams, which was just play ridiculous. And, I can understand they probably traded Antoine Walker, but they could have got even a better player with trading Antoine Walker. They probably could have got a draft pick. They could have got a draft pick, and we probably could have LeBron James on the Celtics. Maybe so. We also could have had Rasheed Wallace at that time. Maybe Rasheed Wallace, because Portland traded Rasheed Wallace. We could have even had, maybe Long Zeezy, but Ray LaFrentz was an okay player on the Celtics. He was quite very good because he could play defense and get in the post. That's why Danny likes him. Antoine Walker just shoots all the time. But Yuri Welsh was an okay player. He actually was very well. I mean, because Jim O'Brien's coaching, that's why he's a solid player. But after that, I haven't heard from Yuri Welsh, roughly, unfortunately, because apparently Yuri Welsh, is not that great. My brother said Yuri Welsh sucked, but yeah, I mean, maybe Jim O'Brien could probably coach the Jazz. Also, I was thinking Mike Brown, because Mike Brown also resigned. Mike Brown's an okay coach. I mean, he's probably a terrible coach. The team was good because of LeBron James and Gauskas, but that's a little surprising for me to hear. But if Brian Scott is to get fired because the team is just falling apart, this isn't the Brian Scott coaching we know. If Brian Scott, coaches the Jazz, then maybe he could build them up. Tim Floyd sucks. Like, every season he coaches bad teams. Like the Bulls, 2 years in a row, they were 15-67. And then they had, I forgot who their coach was, but they could get Paul Silas to coach the Jazz. I'm thinking they could get Paul Silas. Maybe Paul Silas would probably be a great NBA coach, personally, for my opinion. He would be solid. Also, other teams that could coach the Jazz, well, that's the most I got. Maybe Larry Bird's president of the Pacers after getting this huge, phenomenal promotion. Like, Larry Bird actually, really built up the Pacers in his coaching, but I don't think he would get fired after taking them to the finals a couple times. Like, his coaching, because of all the championship trips that he's been taking, he had to take them to the finals. He's just phenomenal. So, apparently, to say the least, I think, I have to say the best person I have to say is Paul Silas, if he's not coaching right now. Maybe Avery Johnson. I think Avery Johnson could coach the Jazz, to say the least, or Paul Silas if he's still planning on coaching. I mean, he'll be a great solid coach, so to say the least. Or Rudy Tomjanovich. I have to say Rudy Tomjanovich. Rudy Tomjanovich is going to be a solid coach. That would just be epic. So, moving on from that, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the losing streak continues, which is utterly disgraceful. What is up with Cleveland so far? They were 7-9, and now they're 8-30-something. Like, how ridiculous is that? This is just plain sad. Like, Cleveland was playing solid, beating a lot of talented teams, and now they're all suddenly falling apart. And saying that LeBron James is mostly to blame for his comments that Cavaliers are down, that's such baloney. I have to say that is such baloney. Personally, I think LeBron, is doing very well on his own, and I think it's kind of ridiculous that Cleveland starts falling apart because of LeBron. And the fans are just so petty. I have to say, the fans are just so petty because they still chanting a-hole, or I would chant you sold out, but eventually soon Cleveland has to start doing strong without LeBron James. It's just going to come to a point they have to start finishing strong and just prove that they could just do very well without LeBron James. Like, that's what I have to say. Like, LeBron James is doing stronger without Cleveland. Why can't he's doing stronger on the Heat? Like, why can't the fans start doing stronger without LeBron, the Cavs? Like, I have to say. And also how shameful it is that because now Chris Bosh is also on the team. Raptors are also falling apart too. I mean, the Raptors weren't even that great, even if they had Chris Bosh, or if they were to have Chris Bosh. On top of that, and Chris Bosh and LeBron just looking stronger. And LeBron James saying he's the superhero of the NBA, like, give me a break. Like, he's just playing basketball, just doing his job. It's like, it's just this whole thing has just been a drag. And if he does get back with the Cleveland Cavaliers, what would the point of it be, all of this? It's like, what's the point of it all, him Cleveland and joining the Heat? Like, he made his final decision to join Miami. Like, I think it's time for LeBron to just move on and just play with this team and just do your job. Like, you're already doing your job now. It's like, why do you have to keep boasting on the Cavs so much, or keep bugging on them so much? It's ridiculous. But oh well, at least Miami Heat having a solid season this year, almost as solid as the Celtics. Very impressive season so far for Celtics. I'll be tuning into their game tonight. I'm so excited about that. They have to get to at least 30 games, or go on a 12-game winning streak, because, man, this is just plays sad for them to be playing like this. This is just ridiculous. Personally, they have to start building up, sooner than later. I hate for their season to end, in a early disgrace, to say the least. I mean, it's just plain sad, for the most part. What I gotta say? What more can I say? And now that's quite it. Practically, like, I think they need it. I think they have some stuff to improve. Like, they have a solid team. They just need a solid. Well, they have Varejao as their center. They just need a solid guard. And I think the team. Yeah, the team's not that great, but this is just utterly disgraceful. I have to say, this is just a shame for them to go on a 25-game losing streak, and now it's a 26-game losing streak. 8-46. Wow, how disgraceful is that? I'm making these comments about the Cavaliers because it's just sad. I mean, Boston, has been playing solid. I mean, they're playing the Lakers tonight. I'll be tuning into that game. I'll be excited to watch that game. This game's just gonna blow my mind. It's gonna be very great. Boston and LA. I'll be tuned into that. I'll be so excited to watch that game. Other games that will be going on, yeah, that's quite it. Boston and LA, which I'm looking forward to. Boston is just playing a solid season. I mean, last time I saw them, Boston just beat LA, like, without a doubt. Boston beat LA. I forgot what the score was, but yeah, Boston just beat LA. LA's like Carmelo Anthony. I heard Carmelo Anthony's considered joining the Lakers. I don't know how that would help because Trevor Ariza or Andrew Bynum's a good center, and Trevor Ariza I think is a power forward or something like that. I really think Carmelo Anthony may need to go to the Knicks, to say the least. I think he'll either go to the Knicks or should go to what team I think they should go to. They need some improvement. I think the Warriors. Carmelo Anthony could have potential to go to the Warriors. Not the Clippers. I mean, Carmelo Anthony's a playoff guy. I don't think he should go to the Clippers because most of his career he's been going to the playoffs. The Nuggets have been really improving ever since getting Carmelo Anthony, from my opinion. But yeah, to say the least, I think he could go to New York. I think he should go to the Knicks. But New York has been playing incredibly solid. But I think New York could get a good small forward, from my opinion, to say the least, for the most part. So, yeah, I'm saying Carmelo Anthony should go to the Knicks. I don't think the Lakers need a player. They should trade Ron Artest for Carmelo Anthony if that is to happen. I think Ron Artest would do great with Chauncey Billups, even though Ron Artest has an emotion or wherever he has some outbursts, stuff like that. Ron Artest, he's like the new Dennis Rodman. Ron Artest is like the new Dennis Rodman. Ron Artest plays solid. He doesn't he's not a criminal like Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman's just completely crazy, but they're still kind of similar on the court. Or Allen Iverson and Ron Artest are almost a little bit similar, except Allen Iverson's not as crazy as Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman's just completely crazy. He got drunk on the middle of Celebrity Apprentice. He got fired like immediately on the spot. Like Dennis Rodman's just it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But yeah, to say the least, Boston, got much. I don't have much to say about Boston. Boston's just been playing solid. I don't think Boston needs to improve. They just look completely solid. Like they just look like they have all the pieces together. And I have to say that it's just so impressive. I'm very impressed for Shaq. Shaq's just been playing impressive. Even though the rough loss against Dallas, they've been playing solid. Dallas is also playing a solid game. Ever since getting J-Kid, with J-Kid they just have the whole package together. And Dallas is on a 10-game winning streak. Spurs have just been dominating, and Lakers getting a little slumpy in third place. They should have been 44-8, not the Lakers. I'm surprised San Antonio's just playing even more solid than ever, and this is just very surprising. They could be 72-10 if that is to happen. I mean, if that is to happen, that'll just tear the house down. But yeah, Cleveland and Spurs are like opposite. If you go on NBA.com, you can see them on top of each other. Like Cleveland 8-45, Spurs 44-8. Like this has just been phenomenal. The Spurs have just been rocket house, but Cleveland needs to get back up there. This is utterly disgraceful for the Cavaliers, to say the least. And Clippers have been really improving, in my opinion. Like the Clippers have been playing solid, in my opinion. They're playing good. They're 20-32 now. If they can really keep this up, they can really climb up to 9th or 8th place. I mean, I have to say the conference is actually okay, but it's not like it was in the past when every team has a winning record and then like only like three or two teams have awful records. It's a little bit different, but hey, we'll see how the season goes and progresses. But yes, this is what I'm excited about. But Cleveland, man, I have to say I don't have much to say about Cleveland, but they just need to start playing solid like they were when they beat like solid teams like Boston or Mavericks or whatever. Like they need to get back up there. Like they were doing okay. I thought they were gonna have an okay season, like 35 and 47, but I don't think that's to happen. They're gonna be, have to say, 27 and 55, or at least 21 and 61. Yeah, so they're gonna be 21 and 61. That's what I'm thinking. If they could like end their losing streak, they can win at least 20 games. That's what I'm thinking. But other than that, Jerry Soloan, well, they need to find a new coach. And the Cleveland Cavaliers, it's just utterly ridiculous. But Clippers have just been solid. Clippers are just really getting up there. So this is a little bit impressive. So I'll see how they build up from there. So this is the Red Dog Extremes, my review, and I'm taking you to the extreme.